Yeah.
I can't hear you yet. Can you hear me?
Good, how are you? I was making sure I could hear you. I can hear you. We're good. Let me just do a test. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfecto. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my Seltzer journey. My name is Jacob Hackett. I'm your host. Happy New Year. My first guest of 2021 is the owner of your CBD store in Absecon in the shopping center right next to the bank on the White Horse Pike. She's also a part of the Absecon Cul- Cultural Cultural Arts Alliance. Absecon Cultural Arts Alliance. Say that 5 times fast. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome April Elias. Thank you for coming on such short notice. I I sent you a message Monday because I had someone scheduled, all set, ready to go. I had all the questions were written, and he texted me, "Oh, I have COVID. Can we reschedule?" I said, yes, we can because I don't need you." He says, I feel like I've been hit by a truck. I said, yes, we can reschedule. I'm home till at least March consistently. So I said, you tell me when you're ready.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. So I don't know what we'll talk about today, but I'm excited to be here.
Uh, yeah, thank you, as I said, for coming on. So, I'll start out for those of us that, that for the viewers that are watching this, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So I am from Pittsburgh. That's where I was born and raised. And my husband and I moved here, I think it was in 93 or 94. Um, and then we got married in 1995 in Brigantine. And in 98, I had my daughter Angela. In 2001, I had my daughter Isabella. So we have two daughters. And now we live in Absecon. It was in 2013 that we started the Absecon Cultural Arts Alliance. My girls had been in Girl Scouts and they kind of were aging out. I was more interested in arts, and some of the other girls were more interested in sports. So, in order to keep the art thing going, um, I was invited to a group started by the mayor at that time, and I was like, we should get an art group together. So, kind of a spin off from the mayor council advisory meeting I was invited to, we had a spin off group called the Absecon Cultural Arts Alliance. And the founding members, myself and Janine Westcott, are still involved. And there were a few others, who stepped up big and got us our 501c3, created a nonprofit organization for us. And some of those members have since moved on. We've been holding events like children's art classes. We held a talent show, and that's fantastic. Art in the Park every year. We had a huge hand in the very successful Crepseekin, and we still currently put on art classes, a much smaller size now. So coming up a little later in January, there are kids art classes that'll be held here at your CBD store. See, there's a big studio in the back where classes can be held. What else are we doing? We did a live model drawing. So artists sometimes like to work on painting or drawing, sketching live models and getting, all the details of their face and their hair and their clothes, like figure drawing. So we held that here recently. And Renee Leopardi is going to hold a pastel painting class here, which she's done before. And the classes are, the size is limited. We're just having like 5 or 6 people in the room with the teacher. So that's what the Cultural Arts Alliance has been doing recently. So I'm proud to still be a member of it, even though I stepped down from the presidency of it because, running the CBD store is going to be too much, to run a business and then the 501c3 and then a household, because I still run a household.
Yeah, and just as you said, it's hard running 501c3. You were a past president of the Arts Alliance. I mean, you had your hands full. Art in the Park, Crab Seeking, which unfortunately I'll get into that in a moment, and so many other things. I mean, I know where you're coming from. It's hard running 3 hands, or it's hard being 2 places at one time and doing all that because you got to be here at one point there. So yeah, you mentioned art in my first question. I see some of the art behind you in the store, yes. And it's funny, I actually know, I know a member of the Arts Alliance, Linda Weisbecker.
Love her, yeah.
Yeah.
She's our secretary for a while. She's an incredible person and an incredible artist, and she contributed to the group so much.
Yeah, so my next question, kind of like, were you one of the founding members per se of I know you're not president anymore of Cultural Arts Alliance, but were you one of the founding members of that organization?
Yeah, so I have the good fortune to sit next to Janine Westcoat at the Mayor Advisory Council meeting, and I said to her, I wish we could get some kind of group together that was something productive for older children to do. So at that point, my daughters were high school and middle school. And I wanted something where they could take a leadership role and also with like artistic things. So there were many times where they had opportunities to teach a class to their peers. So they were able to step into like a role model position. The class was easy. It was cupcake wars. It was fun. It was cupcake decorating, but they had, a chance to stand up in front of their peers and decide how the class was going to go and give a theme and decide how the cupcakes were going to be judged. What was the judging sequence, and so they have, I think, a lot of good exposure and experiences. They volunteered many, many hours towards it. It's all volunteerism. Nobody's getting paid, and that's good for them. And especially because they went to Holy Spirit High School, so they had to put in service hours. And we are a community organization, and they got their service hours many times by, helping out with the New City Cultural Arts Alliance. Sometimes they were just the cleanup crew after an event, or they had to pass hors d'oeuvres during an event. One time we had taken some performers from FC Kids Got Talent. We held a talent show, and we took some of those performers over to Seashore Gardens, and we had them go on a little, like a smaller size stage, and they performed for the residents. And it took, a while to get the residents all lined up, because some of them were walking down to the chairs and other people had to have their beds transported to that common area, and then they were able to watch the performers. So my daughters got to perform in that too.
Well, well, that's nice because you're giving back to the community and to others that may not get the opportunity to come out and see a show. I believe I saw, I think, are they, well, they were at Spirit, Holy Spirit High School, right? I believe
Yeah.
I was at one, maybe two. Yeah, I went to one. Yeah, and I mean that's that's what we're looking for here for anyone listening. Community involvement is so important, and and I'll get into more later, and we'll talk about like the here and now of it. But it's just community involvement. That's what you need for like your kids, for example, who went on to high school, now are in college. They needed the hours, and now they're leading their own productive lives out in the community. So so you grew up in Pittsburgh, you came here, you live literally right down the street from me. So it's funny. I mean, there's been a lot of things that have gone in where you're at in that little shopping center. So how did how did the how how did you come up with the idea to start the CBD store?
So I have been involved with using essential oils for about 7 years now. Someone approached me at a craft show, and she was like, "Oh, you have to check out our essential oils." And I'm like, "Oh, that's really nice. Use them for aromatherapy. They smell good. Great." And then, after using them for so many years, I found that in my own experience, I could use essential oils instead of using medicine. I use the plants as medicine. So if somebody starts to feel like, just say they get a bellyache, they ate something they shouldn't have eaten. There's a blend called Digest Set, and that can help their stomachs feel better. If somebody starts to get like a cough or a runny nose, there's oil of oregano. And this is all from a very specific brand that you can take internally, doTERRA, right? And I've brought some to your house before because I remember Riley had a little bit of an earache one time, and I was like, giving her the things and saying, put the cotton balls in your ears. So I gained a lot of faith in the essential oils over the past several years. And then when in 2018, December, CBD derived from the hemp plant was made legal. So up until then, they put it in the category of cannabis and saying it was too similar to marijuana, which it's not marijuana. Kind of saying it was too similar to that and saying, it was illegal. So when they made it legal and I started using it for some pain that I had, I saw really good results and I was very impressed with it. So my brother has this same store in Pittsburgh, and it was his product that I tried, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. And I thought, oh, I could do the same thing here, open another store, and that's what we did. I had already gained a lot of belief and a lot of faith in essential oils, and CBD is just an essential oil derived from the hemp plant. Now they make sure they preserve all the good terpenes from it, all the goodness of the hemp plant is put into this product.
Right, and that's what I was going to say. For anyone watching this, it's all natural based. It's essential oil. It's good for you. You're not taking anything like nothing that would hurt you or harm you. It will help you. It is not what you hear on the news. It's totally different. It it's very healthy. I think I've smelled not not your products, but I've smelled some products, and they smell good. Like you know what you're getting out of them, and then you read that they're helpful, and they really say that they are. And I mean, any, and I mean, you would rather use something that would be more of a health benefit to you than some, regular medicine. I mean, use medicine when you have to, but I'm not, I'm not, I'm not going against using medication. I'm just saying there's other health, healthier and more helpful alternatives out there.
I just want to turn down this music. One moment. Sometimes a different song will come on and it'll be louder than the previous one, and that seems a little loud.
Oh,
So I heard you said,
I know that happens with me on the TV. You change one channel, you can't hear it. Then the next channel, blare it, you gotta turn the TV down. It's like, it's odd. TV music, I never understand the sound system. I don't know the reason why. It's just weird. But like I said, CBD is. I'm not telling you that that's what you should do. CBD is just a healthier alternative to say pain medicine, because I know people that have tried it and they say, oh, works great. Like you said, doTERRA earlier. Like I've heard of people that have used that. So yeah, so here we go. I've for those of you that have seen these episodes, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but what have challenges in times like these been? Because COVID's gone on. Goodness gracious, we're almost approaching a year with this. So, I mean, for example, like April's big in events and I'm seeking, and so am I, and we've done other things, but you can't have, uh, there was no crab seeking this year, correct? They delayed that till next year. There were, did you have a best flower pot in town? Did you?
it was an outdoor event, so it was not too challenging to hold it. It's such a beautiful, large space outdoors. It's at the Jonathan Pitney House, and if you've ever driven by, their garden, the yard is huge. So we had a great turnout. Instead of having like past hors d'oeuvres, we just had like wrapped snacks, bottled water. It was set up a little different. That way, people weren't touching other people's things, their food or whatever. And yeah, everybody had an amazing time. We also held art in the park, and that was at Heritage Park. And again, because it was an outdoor event, it went beautifully. Now we haven't been able to have any large indoor events, and also something like Crab Seeking takes a good 6 to 8 months to plan. And with our, when we were going into it, in order to have something like that, say in September, 6 to 8 months earlier than that, we were all just, what are we doing? We don't know if we're going to be allowed to do anything at all. So it was best to not have any huge events. Now, Art in the Park, we've done it many, many years, so it's kind of like down to a science, and a lot less moving parts. It's just you just have your artists come to the park and display their stuff, and it was easy. So in the future, we'll put together some really big and grand events again. As far as business goes, cannabis was considered essential at the time where everything else was closed down. But if nobody is going out at all, then there was really no point to be present in the store. So on the windows, very, very large, I put my phone number, and I very large wrote free delivery. And so people would call and place their order over the phone, and I would come over and put the order together and drop it off on their doorstep. Easy, right? So I was able to stay in this the entire time, although it definitely slowed things down. Very many times there was, absolutely no contact with me and the customer, just a nice phone conversation. I was able to tell them everything, that they needed to know about the product over the phone and take their payment over the phone and then drop it off to them, and easy, right? Since then, I think it was June, I decided to open the doors again to the store and let people come in. And I set the store up differently than it was before. We used to walk right up to people and shake their hands, back in the day, right? So now we're behind a desk and we're pretty far away from the customer that comes inside. And yeah, so we're like set up for social distance. It's perfect. And yeah, the customer has their area and we have our area, but I still get phone calls and I still do delivery and free shipping and still do curbside, like no contact pickup.
Right. And if you think about it, if you're doing outdoor events such as Art in the Park, the flower pots, you could basically do them, I don't want to say completely normal, but you can do them pretty close to the normal amount. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're outdoors, you're spaced apart, people wearing masks. It's just the inside things are what you're gonna have to worry about. And I don't know if I read or heard that in the beginning they were not so sure. And I'm going to mention another event. I don't know if you're affiliated with it and I'm seeking or not, but the concerts in the park, they had said no. They had first they had said you can come, but please make sure you wear your masks and you bring your own food and chairs because they're not supplying any of that this year because of the pandemic. And I mean, yeah, you understand that because certainly you don't know where people have been, and there's like you said and like I said, there's so many challenges, and especially if you're considering planning such a large event, such as Crab Seeking. That's a huge event. It takes 6 to 8 months to plan. You're probably better off postponing it to this. What do you? Before I go on, do you have that scheduled for this year, or have you not made a decision yet?
So we have a meeting coming up with the Upstate Cultural Arts Alliance on Monday. I'll have more information after that. We toyed with the idea of changing the location, and yeah, so as soon as the decisions have been made, all the information will be released, and people can start planning for when they're coming to it. So we had talked about the fall, and then we're like, oh, maybe we'll have it a little sooner than that. So it's still kind of up in the air. So
Yeah,
we plan to hold. Mm-hmm.
yeah, because I had a I had an event scheduled in Ocean City. They had planned a big thing for the Field of Dreams. I planned to work it, do all the music, and then they texted me, oh, we're so sorry, we have to cancel because of the pandemic. I said, okay, let me know when you plan on having it again. Because I'm not sure how many tickets I have left to sell, but people still have their tickets. I mean, we did throw the tickets back, but if people want their tickets back, I would give them their stuff back. but that's just how it goes. This pandemic is so, I don't want to say mishmash or wishy-washy, but it's like so unpredictable is what I was trying to say, because you don't know.
Mhm.
And we would think outdoors would be safer, but which they're saying it is, but the governor hasn't made any major changes to crowd sizes or limits yet, so we don't know. And that's something I'm sure you have trouble with planning an event, because what if you get a large influx of people, such as coming to Crab Seekin or the concerts in the park, and you can't space them?
Some of it is at their own risk, you know? Like
Yeah,
if somebody felt like their immune system wasn't able to take it and that they shouldn't personally go to an outdoor event for safety reasons, then they're right. Then they shouldn't go. But I think the important thing is that people have a little bit of an awareness of their own immune system capabilities. If it's depleted for any reason at all, then they should absolutely not expose themselves. It's too high risk. But if there's people who are feeling healthy enough to be at an outdoor event, then that's who came to Art in the Park essentially. People who felt like their immune system they, their immune systems were strong enough and they had masks on and everything else that was the guidelines. Also, in time with all the sunshine, I think people were just healthier anyways.
yeah, yeah, and I've said it in times like these, we all need this. We all need the sun to
Yeah.
yeah, brighten our spirits, and yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just been, you know, and I asked that challenges of the pandemic because everyone's answer is different, because I've had a variety of people on. I've had teachers on. I've had people from not at Seeking Council, but other towns on here about cancel council council people on city councils on here to say, okay, this is what's different in my town versus this is what's different in here, and here's how we're going about our business. Like hmm, it's all different no matter where you look. And I remember reading in the paper, I don't know if it was this year or last year, but Art in the Park has done very well for what, quite a long time, or quite a few years, I should say.
I believe we've held it for 6 years.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's nice to see, as I said earlier, it's nice to see community involvement from people and people coming out supporting the events, because as I've said in previous episodes, if you don't have community support, if you don't have involvement, the event can't go on. You can't put such as a talent show on. You can't put an art event on. You can't put and then what's really sad in the downturn is, I mean, sometimes it is a concern, sometimes it isn't. How well will you do financially at the end of the day after the event is done? And then is it worthwhile to bring it back next year?
Absolutely. So let me tell you what I love about the Deep Seeking Cultural Arts Alliance. All along, we've created and given artists and performers opportunities, and that's the biggest thing, right? So, just starting out, and we had our first talent show, and this young man, William LePens, he came and he played the guitar and he sang "Here Comes the Sun," the Beatles song, And, he was just such an incredible, warm person. So we're like, hey, do you want to do like another thing for us? So we had him play guitar, background music for our next event. And then he played guitar and sang at Art in the Park. It was like all these nice little things were creating opportunities for these artists, musicians, all these performers to be able to express themselves in a positive way. So that's what I really love about it. Anytime we've ever had somebody come into our group and teach a class for us, they're always welcome to, and we encourage them um, to continue on with those people as their students at their own locations. Like just say Nikki Giverson from Swan Bay Folk Art Center.
Exactly. Yeah, I
So,
knew Nikki. Yeah.
so she held classes for us. She did folk art classes, and then after our art camp was over, those students had her phone number. They were able to contact her again and again. They can go and see her in Port Republic and take more classes. So all we've done is a beautiful network of, giving opportunities to other people. And I love it so much. And yet, so making money is very important, but we've never priced something so much as to make money off of it. We've always priced it so it's affordable, like events and like classes and things. They've always been priced so they're affordable, and then the organization tends to always make money anyways. So
Right.
it's
And
a beautiful outcome.
yeah, it is a nice outcome at the end of the day. And and the just as you said, the importance of the event is not at the end of the day is not uh money is not the 100% a part of the day. Just as you said, you're bringing people on, people like Nikki. You brought her in. She did classes for you, and now she has your people that she was teaching. Now they're becoming hers, and she's teaching them at her own space.
Yeah,
So
so if any instructors have the opportunity to gain students and continue on with them, it's a beautiful thing.
yeah, and it's funny you brought up um, singing and talents. I think I was there when Mara Justine sang. What was that? I know I was there. Was that a talent
Yeah,
show?
we called it FCKin's Got Talent.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, she was on. I might have you help me because she was on what?
Yeah,
America's
America's Got Talent.
She was
I
on
think she
America's.
got to runner up. I think that yeah, I think she won the runner up position, and she's local, white girl. And so through some people, we were able to contact her, and she went to perform for us. And so she was definitely a star in that show. But then we had many, many other performers. There was dance acts, there was a father-daughter guitar and vocalist act, many acts, and it went off so well. It was beautifully done. We had so much fun doing it, and we held it at Holy Spirit High School. So we had
Yeah,
a huge auditorium. You remember that?
yeah, I remember that, and that's what I'm saying. For those,
I remember your sister was in it. We did a
right,
lip
right,
sync
right,
match.
right, right. They did. There was, of course, I think I was in high school at the time, but yeah, you're right. I forgot till you said that. I was in high school at the time. They redid their lip sync routines because Bella and my sister did a routine for lip sync. I don't remember what the routine was, but you asked them if they would come back, so they did, and they redid their lip sync routine. I remember that. Now that you said that, I didn't remember that right, right then and there, but I do now. It's just yeah, giving people a chance to showcase what they have. And that's what's important on a local level. So if you want to be someone like Mara who wants to go out and give herself a successful career as she has started off thanks to America's Got Talent, she did it. She got herself started. She, of course, I I don't know what she's up to now. Do you have any idea what she or William LePens are up to currently? Like, what are they doing now?
So I don't know what Mara is up to. William, on the other hand, I see him. We're still friends, and he would come to a group that we would have here at the store, and it was a music circle, and would be now this is in the month of like January, February, maybe even December of last year. Okay, so it's been a while. We haven't gathered since then, but there would be like 10 to 15 artists, musicians in this room, in the studio, all sitting around with chairs, having their guitars in their hands. And it was Adam Berardo organized it. And he invited all his musician friends over, and they performed different songs. And some of them were originals, like you'd never heard this song before. And a lot of them were men. I'm thinking, was there any female performer? There was a singer, her name was Sarah. I think a lot of them were male guitarists and vocalists. And oh, there was a gentleman who brought a banjo, played that. There's another gentleman who brought an accordion. So it wasn't just guitars, but a lot of guitars. A lot of nice acoustic songs that they made up in their heads, and it was great. And so William would come. It was fun because sometimes he would sing a song that was already created by an artist, just say like Neil Young, okay? And make his voice sound just like Neil Young and play the music. And if you close your eyes and you just like listening, it's so good. I can't wait for days like that to come back, when we can gather as like a larger group and perform.
Yeah, I mean, I do miss the larger gatherings because you miss that. You can see people, but through like this, through a screen. But I do miss the days of larger gatherings. Getting together for at your just saying at your store, like lunches, dinners, all of that. It's gone, sadly, because of this pandemic. But days like this, days like what we're discussing, they will come back. We won't live like this forever. I'm hoping I'm hoping by the spring or the summer things start to turn around. I'm not saying they'll turn around quickly, but I think, and I know you do too, that things will start turning around. I don't think we'll see a full turnaround till next next year, maybe 2022. But I think they keep telling us the lights at the end of the tunnel. We'll get there. Just be patient, as they say to us. Just be patient a little bit, a little bit more, a little bit more. Well, I think a little bit more is what we've been told since the fall.
Yeah, it's true. So I still hold yoga classes here, and the space is big enough to have about 4 people, which has been going extremely well. Um, I mean, normally we could fit many, many more, but that way we have enough space between us. And so holding the yoga classes and having the people presence in the room, it means a lot to all of us, even though there's only like 4 of us. It's that in-person interaction. Of course we stay well enough away from each other, but still just seeing each other and the smiling faces and being in the space together is really nice.
Right, because
So There's
You,
that. There's an online meditation group that I do. It's almost every night. I can't do some of the nights because they're like a little bit early and I'm at the store until 6. So if the meditation starts at like 5:30, I can't make it. But like those things can really keep us like very grounded and help us with patience because 2020 has taught us patience, if nothing else, right? Gotta be patient, gotta be patient. So I think that with the yoga and the meditation and then some art is all like keeping me very grounded and very centered.
yeah, yeah, and that's what we need. I mean, going into this year, that's what I'm not saying we all need that,
Right.
but 2020 should have taught us lessons to be patient, as you said, because people were, I mean, I know I went through it in the beginning of the pandemic. I was in school. I had to do the virtual. It's not, I know it's not easy, but you learn how to, and I'm saying this for anyone watching in high school or college, you learn how to cope with what's going on in our world. As we said, this will not last forever, but 2020 and definitely starting into this year will teach us patience.
So something else is helping people with coping, right? Say they don't really want to do the yoga and the meditation. It's not really their cup of tea, right? So a lot of people are using CBD for their anxiety and their stress. And so when somebody comes back in and they're like, wow, I'm my old self again, like they're feeling less anxiety, less stress, means a better immune system, right? Because you know that stress depletes your immune system. So they're using it to help them with so many things. So that's another good thing to help, like you said earlier, every form of medicine has its place for sure. But when we can use something natural to help us like reduce stress and also bring down inflammation, things like that is all good.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I know these times are hard. Uh, Trust me, we feel for you if you're out of work, but I know these times are hard. And as we said, there are things out there. If you would rather, um, you, we've talked about it. I talked about it several times during this episode, and I will reiterate it again. If you feel that you need something, I would suggest using uh, some of the CBD that April has mentioned. I will, if you are interested, I will post links on our page because it, we're trying to help one another here, and and if and as April just said, if it takes something just for you to get back to feeling yourself, bringing down the anxiety, a little CBD could go a long way.
You got it.
Yeah. So so that's how it goes. I mean, we you want people to live healthy, active lives, and a little goes a little. Not with what we're talking about here, but a little. If CBD, correct me if I'm wrong, you can use it all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like a little goes a long way. Use it as you need it, use it as you want it.
Yeah. So when people come into the store, we give them our best best possible guidance that we can give them. Okay, we'll tell them everything they need to know, and what strength would be best for them, and the way of consuming it. What way of consuming it would be best? You could put it on topically. They could put it in a drink and drink it. There's another one you put underneath of your tongue and let it sit there. There's even a smokable raw hemp flower. There's so many different ways of using it. And then after they get all that information, and we ask some questions too, because if somebody has their gallbladder, then they would use the oil tincture or either one that they want. If they had it removed, they would just stick with the water soluble. So there's some questions and conversations, and that's something else we could just do over the phone too. And then after that, then they can base their purchase on answering the questions and finding the best product for them. And when you did say a little bit goes a long way, the topical pink relief cream, that one is a little bit goes a long way. You only need a tiny bit of it, and it smooths right in really nicely. Some of the other things you would use just like on a day when things felt extra, like maybe the barometer drops and things that are extra achy and things. But and for some other reasons, somebody would take it consistently every day. Take like a half of a dropper 2 times a day, and then they consistently do that until the body is in balance again.
Yeah, I mean, with as crazy as the weather is now, one day it's warm, one day it's cold, one day it's warm again. One of my questions, would you feel instant relief?
Within like 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, wow. So you use it once and say the pain isn't gone, but it's reduced to what it was before you were taking the ointment or whatever it may be.
Yeah, exactly. Many times people have come in and they have problems with their knees, but it's not a time for them to get surgery, but they have pain and they have to go to work, and they have arthritis, and so they put the topical cream on their knees and they're standing there and they're amazed at how fast it's working. They're just truly amazed. Or a lot of people, with their hands and fingers with arthritis, and they massage it in and they're so incredibly surprised at how fast it works.
What? Wow.
Top seller for sure.
Because I know some people say, oh, moving to Florida will help the arthritis. Yes, it will, but there are other things beside that could help as well. So resort to other options. And one of this might be my last question. What, if you have any, what are they looking towards the future with CBD? Like modern medicine or anything like that? Like what are they trying to eliminate, like your everyday medications, or what's the latest with CBD?
For the future, it'll probably become FDA approved. So it's not FDA approved, and that's why it's important that you buy a brand that has a third-party tested lab report accessible from every bottle. Because if you see CBD is sold everywhere, and if it's not regulated, that means they could put 1 drop of CBD in it and have the rest of it be coconut oil. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be anything special. So this company has a third-party tested lab report. It's accessible from every product, and also the way it's extracted is very important as well. So this company has total transparency with their extraction method. It's a CO2 extraction, and that supercritical CO2 extraction method, it goes from being a liquid to a gas, and so there's no residual solvent left behind. So when you're taking the product, you're not consuming the chemical took to extract the product from the plant. It's really important that somebody buy a brand that's complete transparency. So SunMed, Sunflower has total transparency. And moving forward, you know how marijuana was voted to be legal. I don't think it's going to change the status of people who want to use CBD. People who have their medical marijuana cards come here and shop all the time. They want to use both of them in conjunction. They're using their medical marijuana for whatever medicinal benefits they want, but they want to bring down that high feeling. They're so high in the head and stoned, so they're balancing out with the CBD, so they're getting the benefits of both the plants and a little less of the psychoactive effects.
Yeah, and I mean, just you said the feeling of being high, high, or you want to bring that down to a sustainable or a minimal level to make you feel somewhat grounded or normal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
So,
there's a lot of medicinal benefits, but not everybody wants to be high all the time.
oh no, no, nobody wants to feel like that all the time. So, yeah, so if you have any questions, April is on Facebook. I believe before I sign off, your your CBD store. Well, they do. You do have social media, correct?
Mm-hmm. Your CBD store, Apseekin, specifically. The phone number's on there. It's 609-277-792. If anyone had any questions at all, they could just call, and I'd be happy to have a conversation and answer any questions.
Thank you. Yes, I mean, it's one step to a healthier, happier life. And I mean, if this is the way you want to go, I mean, for anyone watching this, if, if you feel as though you need to make a change, here's one step right here. Your CBD store app Seeking, they're on Facebook. I will post that to our page. Thank you, April, for being on here.
Thank you so much, Jacob. Have a
Thank
wonderful day. And if you hear my dogs barking, bark back.
I'll biker bark back at them. Ah, have a have a
I always say hi to him when I walk by. We're like, biker. That's what we always say when we walk by him. Biker. He's like, hey.
he's used to you guys now, so it's just a hi and goodbye now. But when he was new to the neighborhood, he tried to make friends. Well, he did make friends.
Yeah.
All
So I
right.
thank you so much. Have
Thank
a wonderful day.
you too.
And,
And I will see you around. I'm sure I'll see you around the neighborhood as we said with the dogs.
all right. Have a good one. Thank you.
You too. Bye. Yes.